Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to Mumcott Ranch and Homestead. So glad to have you guys here. Today we are actually doing a end of July garden tour. You may see that there's not really much in the garden. There's a lot of good things happening, some okay things happening, but at least we have a garden and we're trying to grow some things. So first off, sorry for my voice, getting over a little cold, maybe some allergies. So let's go ahead and get to it. So the first thing that we have here is our lettuce bed. And as you'll see, our lettuce is all done for the year, except weeds. The lettuce, I had mentioned in a previous video that there's just something about the lettuce that I just couldn't get past the bitter taste. I don't know if it's something that I'm doing, but I'll have to figure out in the future years. But my chickens have really enjoyed it. The goats had munched on it a little bit, but they weren't a huge fan, but the chickens definitely enjoyed it. We have our horseradish that's still doing really good. Still super excited to harvest that this year for the first time. Very excited. All right, so the tomato bed is actually doing very well. So we'll go ahead and I'll show you how good they're doing. Look at that. Marigolds are looking good. You'll be able to see that we have some beautiful tomatoes going. We even have some back there as well. We have a couple in here. Some beautiful, oh, we do have some cracking here. That little guy, he struggled, so I did cut him back because there was a second one coming up, so I cut that one, and we have a little one going for later. We have this massive one. I'm not seeing any tomatoes yet growing on this, but we are getting, I think I saw some flowers over here. So this one as well, not really too much happening yet. There was one that was way in the back, but that really did struggle and it ended up just withering up and dying. So overall, the tomatoes are doing really well. Very happy with them. Excited to have some fresh tomatoes. We're not probably going to have an abundance like we have in the years past, but it'll be good for some fresh eating. Probably won't be able to do anything like sauce or salsas or anything like that, but in a future video we'll talk about what our goals are for years forward. So let's go ahead and we'll start with the peppers and give you guys an update on that. Jalapeno plants do take a very long time to produce their fruit on there. They love the heat, and yes, while we've had a lot of heat, we've also had a lot of rain. But I am starting to see some of them flowering, so eventually we will get the jalapenos. I remember last year when I had a bunch that it wasn't till closer to the end of the season when I was really harvesting them. But here's some little flowers starting. So we will eventually be getting them. It's just going to take time. One thing that I wanted to show you, I'm not quite sure how this happened because I didn't plant it this way. So here's another jalapeno, and there's a tomato plant growing. You see it? Oops. I'm not quite sure how in the world that happened, but we will see what that does too. So the next thing we're going to go over to is our cucumber / tomato bed. As you can see, it's doing decent for what it is. These are the tomatoes that we had pulled out of the pig's pasture. As you can see, we have little tomatoes growing. So this is an indication, oops, sorry. No, let me try to get there. That these ones are the cherry peppers that I had. They were like a red and, or like a purple and red striped one. So I think that's what that ended up being. Our cucumbers are doing decent. I have taken quite a bit of cucumbers off of these already. So we have had a good amount, putting them in pasta salads and fresh. All right, so here's another tomato that we had taken out of the pig pasture, we have this one, and this one. I do have to go ahead and tie those up though. This one does not have any tomatoes yet growing on it, so I'm not 100% sure what that is yet. These look like Roma tomatoes. And these, I believe, are my Jetstar tomatoes that I had planted last year. So let me actually go ahead and get these tied up. All right, so they are all tied up. What I use is just like a jute twine. It works pretty decent. I've never had any real issues with it. I'm just going to go in and take these little suckers off. But yeah, this one is doing quite well. Can also take off these bottom leaves. That way they don't, as you can see, they're kind of hitting the ground. Well, the whole plant was on the ground, but we had some pretty heavy storms last night and yesterday during the day as far as like pretty much a downpour. When we've been having rain lately, it's just been a complete downpour rather than anything else. So cut that. There we go. But yeah, you'd like to try to leave your tomato plants where the leaves aren't touching the ground. You'll see that there's some splash up there, but we do want to try to avoid that so it doesn't create disease. Same with this one. Let's go ahead and get this one cleaned up too. And it'll, oh, here's a weed. I've been trying to keep up with the weeds that have been coming up a little bit, but it'll also help with the airflow for the tomatoes as well. So that looks a little better. See? We have some suckers. There's one right here. All right, that looks a lot better. Here's this one. See at the bottom as well. I'll trim this up. Here's one that ended up being a big sucker that got away from us, but we'll go ahead and trim that off too. This did end up being here. You could probably, yeah, let's take that off. I don't know if you can see that, you see. Just go ahead and take that off. Here's another sucker that got away from us. This one already has kind of just bead there, so I think we'll just leave that. And then when the time comes and it gets bigger, we'll go ahead and tie it up. Let's go check this tomato down here. So this one, oh, this one's kind of a mess. All right, well, let's clean it up a little. Get some stuff out of the way so we can see what we're dealing with. So there was one coming off here. So this was a sucker that got away. This was a sucker. You don't have to, take off the suckers if you don't want to. You'll just have more of a bushier plant. You may not get as much produce off of it because it is putting more of its energy into the leaves rather than the fruit. Right, so that is the update on those tomatoes. It's kind of exciting that these actually did do a good job when we had pulled them from the pig pasture up front. And I'll have to show you guys, I don't know if we'll get to it in this video, but in a future video, giving you guys an update on the, we're going to call it the pig garden, because that pig has so many tomatoes in there. It's unreal. All right, so the next thing that we are going to get to is the yellow squash and the zucchini. The yellow squash did have a very slow start, but they are doing much better. These two I have also picked a good handful of yellow squash off already. We actually had some for dinner the other night. But yeah, no, it's doing really good. This one is massive. That one's probably good and ready to pick. So when it comes to your squash and zucchini plants, let me see if I have an example. You have what is called a male flower and a female flower. The male flower isn't the one with the fruit, the female flower is. So if you are noticing that your squash or zucchini get maybe yay big, and then it just starts yellowing and then ends up just dying, rotting out, that means that you don't really have that great of a pollination. Usually you have bees, insects that will pollinate the fruit itself, so you don't really have to, but you may have to go in and do what's called self-pollinating. And what you would do, and here's an example, I'll show you. This is a male flower. You can also tell that it's just one here, and I'm just going to actually pop this off to give you an example. Oh, look at the little zucchini starting. This isn't the best example, but you'll see that another way to indicate that is that it's only a stem that goes to the male flower, where over here you'll see that there's the zucchini. Oh, these bugs are awful. You'll see the zucchini and then the female. You'll also see that the female flower also has a different pollinator in the inside. You can see how this one is just the one, and this is a lot bigger as well. So what you can do is you can pull back the flowers on this female flower like this. Just pull back the flowers. Some people may use like a Q-tip or something, because let me try to focus in. You see how that pollen in there? That's what you want to get. Oh, there's a bee, sorry. Doing its job and I'm ruining it. You kind of just rub it together to get the pollen from the male onto the female. And that ensures that the fruit will be pollinated and you'll get good fruit. Oh, look at that nice zucchini. It's going to be ready in a day or so. So that is something that you can do if you do realize and start noticing that your fruit only gets a certain size and dies off. You may have to do a little bit extra work of self-pollinating them, which is usually pretty quick. But another thing that you can help is getting flowers, just regular flowers, that are bee attractors, and that will also help bring the bees into your garden, and that's when they'll start noticing the flowers on the squash and zucchini and kind of do the work for you, which is nice. Okay, so also in the pig garden, I think a couple videos ago, we had taken some other plants out as well that we thought that maybe squash, zucchini, it could have been a pumpkin, acorn squash, we really don't know. We just grabbed a handful of them and planted them in the garden. Let me go ahead and show you how they're doing. They are starting to really get some size to them. So first we'll start with this one over here. Here's this one. I'm still not quite sure exactly what this is going to be, but it is doing pretty good. This one over here I believe is going to be a pumpkin plant, which if you know me, I love pumpkins, and this made me very happy, so I am good with that. One indicator is that obviously it's starting to vine out, and we have little, I think they're called tentacles, something like that, but they're starting to get little flowers, but Oops, that one fell off. But as you can see, they are just the male ones. There's no female ones quite yet. But that's okay. At least we got something. We have this over here. Again, just a female or a male flower here. No females yet. No signs of fruit yet. So I'm not 100% what that one is yet. Same with this one. And same with that one over there. They're doing good. They're looking good. It's not 100% sure what they are yet. So it's still going to be quite exciting to figure it out. So we did the squash, the zucchini, peppers. Next we have the, eggplant. Eggplant is what we have in here. I've never grown eggplant, so I'm not quite sure how these are even doing. They're getting bigger, so I assume that they are doing well. Here is the eggplants. Good morning, Lindy. Good morning. Hi. So yeah, they're doing pretty good. My big marigolds over there are looking nice too. All right. Here is the pumpkin area. As you can see, not the best. I think you guys were with me as well when I planted seeds for them. Not a whole ton had come up, but look at this beauty. This is our mammoth sunflower. This thing is probably, look at, it's like up to here on me. These things I think get up to 6 to 8 feet tall. I mean, it is doing really well, so I'm super excited about that. We also have one down there as well, and one right here, and then one back by my potatoes that I forgot to show you. So we'll go back there. We'll backtrack when I'm done with the pumpkin. So I did, like I said, I did plant some seeds. They were white pumpkins and like a grayish pumpkin, and out of that only 3 came up. There was a lot more actually, but they just died off, or something came and ate them. I'm not quite sure, because then they just disappeared on me. So this one I'm not quite sure what variety it was, but this one is doing good. Starting to stretch out a little. This one as well. Starting to do pretty good. These ones back here, don't mind the weeds in the back. Story of my life. I still hadn't gotten back to doing this, but so these are starting to do okay. I am trying to get them so they come out this way. This one, ooh, look. Hello, baby pumpkin. How cute. Oh, I'm excited for that. I love fall time, love pumpkins. Oh, look. Here's another pumpkin. Oh, yay. I love it. Swing this around too. You guys, look at this sunflower. Look at the stem on this thing. Holy smokes. This thing is huge. Good morning, Hugh. Hi, honey. All right. And then I have one more up here. Let's see if nothing's really growing too much in here. But that's okay. So, the garden is doing okay. I think we're gonna get a decent amount of stuff out of here as far as preserving and putting away. I don't think we're gonna get too much, which is okay. Like I said, I have plans for the future for this garden. I'm really excited for plans for the farm that has to do with this garden, so we will talk about that later on. So let's go to the potatoes. Look at this potato patch. It is looking awesome. I did, at the edge here, I got very impatient and dug up about 4 or 5 plants, probably like a couple weeks ago. And they were decent size. There wasn't a ton on there, which was expected, but you know, they still have quite a bit of greenery on them. You know, a little bit of things are dying off, starting to yellow a little bit. As you can see, we have some down potatoes over here. Not necessarily that they are dying back and ready to be picked. We've had heavy storms, so it kind of just knocks some things over. But eventually, I'm hoping probably within the next couple weeks we'll be able to harvest these potatoes. I finally was able to tackle this area right here. My rhubarb got completely out of control and was kind of taking over my door space here, taking over the potato area. So I went in and completely cut it back. They're still actually growing, which I'm kind of surprised of, but it's exciting. Hopefully maybe next year I can put like a box around here, maybe keep it more contained, because they do get kind of out of control, and then the seeds were absolutely insane. All right, so last but not least, I wanted to show you guys, I think I had mentioned it before, but I'll tell you about it again. So we had 2 pig sows that we had in the barn over the winter, and in the fall time we had pumpkins left over, and pigs love pumpkin. It's also a good natural dewormer for pigs as well. So we had fed the pigs pumpkins, and we would clean out their pen, obviously, and you know, we made a manure pile. My husband in the springtime came and actually put it in. We couldn't actually get back to our manure pile way at back, so he just started making a pile here until, you know, we didn't want anything too big here, because initially this is not where our manure pile is for our compost. But then in the springtime, I started noticing that pumpkin plants were coming up in this pile, and I said, now we have to keep it here. We're not moving it until fall. So I wanted to show you how well these pumpkin plants are doing. Look at this massive pile. So many flowers. Look at this thing. It's just huge. You can see that there is a small pumpkin growing here. One there. That one did rip off because I was trying to get it away from the electric fence, because as you can see, they're obviously getting electrified there. But yeah, look at the size of these pumpkins. Look at the bee. Doing his job. So yeah, we have 2 nice sized pumpkins here. There's one hidden way in there you can't really see, but there is one right there as well. All right, so there you guys have it. That's pretty much the update for the garden so far this year. Not a whole heck of a lot going on, but what is going on there, it's doing pretty well. So overall, I'm pretty happy with it. We're gonna get some fresh eating this summer, which is nice. In a future video, we will go ahead and go into the pig garden and show you what is going on in there. You guys, you will not believe how many tomatoes have popped up in that. And surprisingly, the pig still hasn't touched them. We have a bunch of cherry tomatoes already forming in there, and he just has not even touched them, phased them, haven't even gone near them. So, which is pretty cool. It'd be awesome to actually get some fruit out of there. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with me this morning. It's good to see you guys. It's good to be back. We've had a crazy few weeks, so I really haven't posted anything between family visiting. We had a passing in our family as well. So it's been quite crazy, and hopefully we're back to getting back into a routine of things around here. So thank you again, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Bye.